All right. Happy day. Good Saturday morning. Hope everybody had a good and safe Halloween. Everybody's recuperating from craziness. Jack Gallman from Day, sir. Good morning, Azure. How you doing? Hope Hi, Jack Gallman from EMR is in the house, sir. Good morning, Azure. How you doing? Hi, Jack Gallman from EMR is in the house, sir. Something. I had something open. All right. I hate it when you have a window open. All right. Now we know. So hope everybody had an enjoyable um, Halloween. We had some was mellow. It was a really nice, relaxing. Luther says it's working. I do have my coffee, by the way, Luther. AZ Coins, what's up? Hey, what's up, me? How are you? Hope you're out driving. Let's see. Uh, Eric is here. Paula is here.
Good morning.
She's like, don't ask me that right
I'm
now,
a
damn
little
it.
gaggy this morning.
Me too.
Uh,
So Paula is having some reflex issues due to a situation at the house, and Eric is having sympathy pains. Um, let's just say a sick dog has left in a complete mess
yeah,
in Paula's home.
yes, and every single one of us got up and stepped in it.
Yeah, horrible
Oh, that's
stuff.
so gross.
So
She wanted to
hopefully
make
you
sure we knew it
enjoy
was there.
speaking. So what's actually funny is the irony of the topic for today
Mhm.
is kind of serendipitous to stepping in it. Um, yeah, because
Oh,
there's so much crappy video out there regarding errors. We're going to be
boy.
talking about that today. We're going to be looking at a lot of varieties, errors. We're going to talking about that. We're going to actually talk about some of the collectability. Um, Before the stream, we were talking about when Eric was doing a coin reveal, found some really neat varieties, ones that are actually worth some money. We'll talk about why those things are worth money. We'll also talk about why many coin shops don't necessarily like to get errors and varieties in, and why some of them are like, this is just not something that is of interest to me. We'll explain kind of why that is, but we'll give you some really good ideas on the coins to look for. Um, Explain to you what you're looking for, why you're looking for it, and try to dispel some of the myths that are out there in relation to damaged versus error coins. I'm adjusting my volume a little bit, so let me know if that's better for you all.
Sounds good to me.
Um, let's see, the names are missing from each of your feeds.
Yes,
Well,
yeah.
so unfortunately, one of the things that I found out is that this is the new norm. Um, so reached out to a buddy of mine who has a tech channel, uh, and was like, "Hey, you have been following this stuff, looking at this stuff. When are we going to get our handles back?" And he's like, "Well, they don't call them handles anymore. They call them your tags or something like that." And they're actually going away. What they're actually doing is to prevent people from creating aliases of similar channels. They are issuing your straight channel name. And so I think this at sign is slowly being rolled out across the platform. It's not everywhere, but it is going to be something that happens on all channels,
Hmm.
and it's going to be something that's permanent. YouTube has mentioned that they are,
Working on it. That's what
yeah,
their email said
They've
to me.
yeah,
done this in the past.
I said, when are we going to get our normal name? And he says, we know that there's an issue. We're working on it. That's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
they said.
they've done this in the past,
Yeah,
and
they
Well,
didn't say they're working to restore it or working to get rid of it. They just said they're working on it.
so I sent both Eric and Chuck a link because we were talking about this in their channel when they were doing a reveal. Sent them a link from somebody who actually does this kind of stuff on a day to day.
Yeah.
And he actually talked to one of the lead developers from YouTube, and they're like, we have things in the works, and we are working to better this. So there are things, they're not naming exactly what's going on. But this is something that we're most likely just to see for quite some time. So it
you
frustrates
can go
me.
you can go into your YouTube studio and change your @ name.
So the
Your
thing is,
personal at name.
your
Yes.
personal one, I can't, as a channel, I can't go in and set everybody's handles.
No,
Um,
no, everybody has to do it
yeah.
themselves into their studio, into
But
their
with the way that
YouTube
this
studio.
rollout is going, it doesn't matter if you have a handle or not, they won't necessarily be showing up. And so the norm from what this video they
Mm.
stated is that this at sign, your actual true channel handle, is what's going to be the norm. So as they continue to work through this, I've got a couple people looking out to see if I can find out what's happening, and I'll keep you guys kind of updated about it because I prefer the handles, but I also understand why they're doing this. It's a
Yeah.
security thing.
Well, I
Um,
don't understand that. That makes no sense
We
then.
have
So
had
it's gonna
that.
change everybody's channel names?
No, no.
no, no,
The
no, no, no,
channel name
no.
is the same,
The
but
channel name is unique to each individual.
it'll say
How are people
at
gonna
Frostbyte
search
Coins.
channel
It won't say
names then?
Frostbyte Coin.
No, so what happens is people change their handle. And so I can go into somebody else and change my handle to Paula Bloom. And it looks on there like I'm Paula.
Mhm.
Right, they
They're
can copy
removing,
your picture and everything.
yeah, they're
Oh,
removing that. And so that even if you change all of that stuff, your actual handle, your actual YouTube channel name, the official one, will show up. And so you can go in and you can change it, but you can only change it once every 14 days or something like that. It's to prevent people from coming in and basically trolling to cause issues, especially if your channel has been one that's reported it. Like I've reported it a number of times.
We've had it on Copper Coins a few
Yeah.
times where people just I mean, the same person would be like, we ban him, and then all of a sudden he's back in less than a minute with the same name, same everything, and it's somebody who actually comes into our, the name is somebody who's actually in the chat at the time. They've
Yeah.
cloned.
And so they're just replicating and cloning that account, and they're trying to prevent that. So the whole purpose for this is a good thing. It really is.
Luther
It's
may
good
be
for
talking
security.
about our names on the screen, though.
Yeah, they're going to be like this,
No,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, our names aren't
Oh,
showing up.
on the screen, yeah, it usually does say Paula, Eric, and
Yeah, that may be what he's
Frostbite on the
talking
bottom of
about.
the.
Oh, well, that's easy. That's just me turning this off. Um, that's just me turning this off and then having the names come back on. I can have the names come on. I've just turned them off. Do you want me to turn the names on?
Oh, I don't care.
Eric's the one with the
I know who
Godzilla
I
logo
am,
on
but
it.
people in chat won't know who I am. I'm just a back quarter.
Yeah, I was going to say you're the back quarter girl.
Yeah, and I can change that. I can set the view and turn those on and adjust.
I like that view better anyway.
Yeah. So, but we can turn those on if people want to see those. Then we can go ahead and do that. But
But you should,
and I
with
can do
that,
some. Look
yeah,
at
with
that!
that layout, you
Ooh,
should be able to have a
pretty.
Ooh,
sticker and
groovy.
the names.
I like this one. This is just
But I
something
still
to
don't
add
see our
color. But
names on it.
look at this desert! Yay!
Yay!
Oh, Eric's
It's
getting rained on.
pouring, it's pouring. The
I
ornament
need to move this
pouring.
over to Paula's stream. How do I do that?
Welcome to Paula's hallway.
Oh gosh, I
Hold on.
know. Now
Where's
my entire floor needs to be mopped.
is there an emoji of a dog pooping? Let me see.
A dog fibbing. I
Oh,
know.
hey,
That's
did you
shitty.
guys hear that they successfully did the first brain transplant?
Oh boy, here we go.
Yep.
So there was
Good
the
morning,
hospital
949.
the hospital came in and was talking to them and said, "Unfortunately, this isn't something
Mhm.
that's gonna be covered by insurance. We have an engineer's brain, and it's about $100 per ounce. You can do, a astrophysicist brain, which is gonna be about $250 per ounce, or if you wanna go really, really expensive, you have the politician's brain, which is $2,000 per ounce."
Oh,
And the
Lord.
guy was like, "Holy crap, a politician's brain, 2,000? Why in the world is it so much?"
Wasn't used.
And he's like, "Do you know how many politicians it takes to find 1 ounce of brain matter?"
Oh my
Nice,
gosh. I
nice.
thought it was gonna be because it hasn't been used.
Oh, yeah, anyway, that one just made me chuckle. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that
Good
one.
morning, everybody.
Yeah, Luther's like, "I knew this was coming." Yes.
Uh, oh boy.
Well, let's go ahead and dig in. So, Paul, I'm gonna bring yours up. Let's go ahead and talk about this beauty piece that you
Uh,
have, the
okay.
2020 bat quarter. Let's chat about
2020.
this one. Let's talk about genuine a variety, genuine error. Let's talk about what it is and kind of some of the known fakes of this that we've seen through various videos and channels.
Oh, there are fakes of this.
Absolutely.
They call this the blind bat. Now this one is only partially blind. There's one that goes all the way across the mama bat's face. But this is just a so Luther it, no. Okay, so here's a that's a misconception, right? Um with struck throughs that struck throughs can have a progression.
Well,
Um
struck through, it depends what it's struck through. Struck throughs can move around.
They can move around.
Yeah.
Typically they don't once there's something on the die that gets struck through into the coin, um, it doesn't typically get bigger and progress. If
No, it usually gets
anything,
smaller.
it will move around or it'll get smaller
Yeah.
or it'll get completely cleaned off the die. So it's not like a die crack or a die chip or a die break and it will get bigger and or has the potential to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And there are several versions of this that could possibly have come from different dies.
Most likely it did. That's like the crossing the Delaware, the one that has Washington that gets the big die cracks in the face and all that.
Well, those are chips
Right. I'm just saying
and
there are
praise.
many different dies because that's the weak spot.
Yeah, this is a struck through. So this is not the same. This is a so there's different types of struck throughs, different material that coins can be struck through. There's also struck through die caps.
Yeah.
Um, this is this is probably a hardened piece
Piece
of
of
what
debris.
mint goo or
Yeah.
goop or whatever you want to call it or crud. But there's also a possibility if you see next to it to the right of that anomaly, there's some scrapes, die scrapes. There is a Lincoln cent. There are Lincoln cents that actually have a metal pileup on the die. So the feeder finger has actually scraped part of the metal on the die and pushed it, and it's a pileup of metal on the die,
You see that on wheat cents a lot.
and you get a repeating um, struck through. Um, but this one is probably just mint goop that was pushed around by the feeder finger. So that's why you have the die scrapes next to it. So what a struck through is just what it says. It's something on the die that when the coin is struck, it causes a incused area on the coin. It's struck through into the coin. And it can actually be retained. And mint grease can be retained on the coin too. And if you ever find a big black blob on your coin and it looks like it has like metal flakes and stuff like that embedded into it, don't clean it off. Don't clean it off. If it is a true retained mint grease error, struck in mint grease error, you've just wrecked it.
Yeah, I've got a 71p that struck through a fiber, and the fiber is still in the struck through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
same thing if you're looking at laminations. Don't pull the lamination off.
Yeah, don't pick at it.
Yeah, don't pick at it. We have a really interesting story about a very well-known shop owner who wouldn't leave something alone and broke a really neat Paracoin. Um, don't do that. So,
The biggest thing I would suggest is if you have what you suspect is a big glob of mint grease, if it's big enough and there is an area that's covering like a device, like a letter around the perimeter, like the L in Liberty, or it's covering all of Liberty, you can take a wooden toothpick or a rose thorn and just kind of move it to the side a little bit. And if that device is gone or extremely weak, then you know for certain that that was struck through grease, that it is actually mint grease.
Steve LaPointe just dropped 5 gifted members: Silver Mountain, Mr. Blue, Chris G, Brutally Honest, and DTS. Thanks,
Nice.
Steve, for that. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate you, brother.
If at any point you guys I am confusing you or you don't understand what I'm saying, um,
I do not
please,
understand the words that are coming out of my mouth.
please just ask.
So let's go over some of these. And these are things that we have talked about quite a bit. So there's a bunch of different items. And Luther has graciously sent me some photos of some of the things that he's shown when you have like Vice coins and stuff like this. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to talk a little bit about each one of these. You hear a lot of these things, and there's a lot of misconception when you watch videos about what these actually are. And so I want to talk a little bit about these. So let's just kind of go top to bottom, left to right, and we'll start with broad strike. So let's talk a little bit about what is a broad strike.
So a broad strike is basically a coin that is struck without the retaining collar, outside of the retaining collar. The retaining collar is what holds all that metal in place and keeps it round when the coin is struck. And sometimes that collar can fail to deploy or get stuck in like a down position, and the coin will just get the metal will spread out, and you can have a centered broad struck or an uncentered broad struck coin.
And
I wish you could pull those up closer so they could see.
oh, I can pull some up. Hold on just a second.
I'll grab a broad struck coin. I actually have a 2000 Wham that's broad struck.
Here, I'll pull up error ref and we can actually show a broad struck. Let me share this. Place broad strikes. Okay, I got it up, Paula.
Okay. So that is an uncentered broad struck. And the difference, a lot of people would look at that and say that's an off center strike. You wouldn't be completely incorrect. The biggest difference is that in an uncentered broad struck, all of the devices, all of the design is visible. it what happens is, can you go back to the uncentered
Yep,
broad
sorry.
stroke? What happens is, with a off center strike, the pressure is just a little bit weaker, so all of the devices don't get filled in. That's basically the difference between an uncentered broad stroke and a off center. So if you find something like this and all of the lettering, all of the devices are visible and not cut off, then it's uncentered broad stroke. If some of the design is cut off on either side, one or both sides, then it's an off center.
And I've dropped the AirRef link for the broad strikes so you can follow along if you want to. As we go through each one of these, I'll be dropping the links so you guys can actually go to. Because again, you're only as good as the information that's being
And
provided
that's a
you, and I want to make
centered
sure you
broad
have
stroke.
some. Yeah.
That's a centered broad stroke.
So let's explain what's happening here so people
That
can
was
understand what they're
completely
actually
struck
seeing.
outside of the collar. That was fed into the striking chamber correctly, centered, but for whatever reason, the collar did not deploy, and it was struck outside of the collar, so you can see the metal has expanded outside. So it's larger in diameter than a struck coin would be, than a normal struck.
Yeah. So this rim should be right here against this. And you can see that all of this metal was pushed out during that strike. That's what you're seeing there. Now, are there any pieces on this that you should look at that tell you that it's an authentic broad stroke?
Um, so this would be impossible to replicate outside the minting process. Something in the design would be affected if you tried to do this. It would be smashed down, flattened out. Um, yeah, some part of the design would be affected, and it's not. It's all of the devices, all of the design are well struck.
It's a really nice example.
Yeah, and you can actually see the flow lines. So you can see like the radial flow lines outside of where the devices are, where the metal, you can actually see the flow of the metal because metal follows the path of least resistance. So you get the flow lines.
Yep. So you see all the flow there.
And Luther, there's always telltale signs that coin has been removed from an encased set. Um, and I can pull a picture of that up when we're ready for it too to tell people
Yeah,
to
if
show.
you want to. You want to do that before we move on to brockages?
Yeah.
And again, the reason we're doing this is just to give you a good idea of what these coins actually look like. It's important that you guys look at some of this stuff. And again, not everybody's interested in this, right? This is something that a lot of people um, are not necessarily, they don't really necessarily care about it. They're fun to find, but not everybody is interested in looking at these. I talked with somebody about a potential idea, and they're like, hey, just in this coin shop, we just don't deal with this. This is just not something that we're going to sell. So just because people are interested in it doesn't mean that you're going to get a quick sell on it if you happen to find one of these. Just like everything, you have to have interested buyers. So being a part of a community like this where you have people that are interested in it is extremely important.
So a coin that has been removed from an encasement or a lucky cent or whatever. This is an extreme example on this Indian head cent. There actually was some lettering around the the edge where this was encased, but it'll have a step off from where you saw on the broad struck. It was just an even flow of metal. With coins that have been removed from an encasement, there is a step from the where the design stops and then the flattened part. There'll be a step. And then sometimes around the edge, there's like a train track, like a wire, like a wheel. I don't know how to, train wheels are like they have like a indent in the center. So there'll be like around the whole edge, there'll be like an indent. But he
Joe has
does.
some
He
pretty
has
cool
one.
examples. Yeah.
He does. He has one that's with a four-leaf clover. Yeah, where the four-leaf clover imprint. It's much like this, like the scent on the screen. At the bottom, there's that four-leaf clover. Well, he has one that was set off center into the encasement, and the metal flowed under, like around that four-leaf clover, and actually got imprinted into the scent itself. So it is really cool. Hmm.
But that's considered damage, not an error.
That is damage.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is
So
damage.
want to make sure
Increase
that when we're
that.
talking about some of these, we explain the difference between. So this one right
Oh, yeah, that
here.
didn't happen at the mint. If it
Yeah.
didn't happen during the minting process, if it did not happen during the US minting process or the minting process at another foreign mint, um, it is post-strike damage, post-minting damage. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, when you're talking about die varieties, when you're talking about errors and you're talking about damage, remember that damage is the largest category. It's most likely the thing that you're looking at. Not always, but again, it's going to be like,
Always assume damage.
yeah.
When you find a coin and you go, that's peculiar, your first step is to assume that it's damage. Then hopefully you have studied a little bit about the minting process. If not, you can go watch the ANA's Modern Minting Process in their Learning Academy because it's a great video. And then prove yourself wrong. See if you can find somewhere in the minting process that what is on your coin could have occurred. But 99.9% of the time, it's going to be damage. That's why errors have value.
All right. The next one is a brokerage.
A brockage.
What is a brockage?
A brockage
Not to be
is
confused with brockery.
a brockage, right? A brockage is when a coin is struck, fails to be ejected, a planchet is fed into the striking chamber, and that struck coin strikes that new planchet on one side. And it's there's like early stage, mid stage, and late stage brockages. And after that, it usually becomes a capped die, and then you get struck through capped dies.
I hope they ended. Sorry, coach. I hope they end it for all states that observe daylight savings. I hope they just finally just say, be done with it. We just have one time.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Yeah. So this is one that a lot of people, again, true or false, the brokerage only happens on one side.
No, you can get brockage on both sides.
Okay.
If you have two struck coins that get, there are extreme things that can happen. They don't usually happen. But but you can get 2 struck coins that sandwich a planchet in between them, and then you get 2 brockages. But this is the error that Vice coins try to fake. This is what they're going for when they make Vice coin. Either this or I mean, it wouldn't be a double struck coin, so but typically they're going for it because brockage coins, the design on the brockage side are backwards and incuse, just like a Vice coin, but different.
And not to
Unless
be
they're a counter brockage.
confused with something like this.
Those are dryer coins.
Yeah, that
Indeed.
thing consent stayed in the dryer a long time,
Yeah.
didn't it?
hmm Quote unquote. Dryer coins is a term that's thrown around for a lot of things, but this is a classic dryer coin example. The heat of the dryer has actually mushed out and distorted the coin. It's mushed it, made it very mushy.
Yeah, and Luther has done a lot of stuff. He sent me tons and
hmm
tons of photos about double strike and vice coins,
You
and he
you
does some
can
amazing
have
stuff.
Luther. You can have a partial brockage. But a partial brockage is not an indent. An indent is caused by an unstruck planchet. They're different. Those are two different errors. You can have a partial brockage that looks like an indent, but the difference is that the partial brockage is caused by an already struck coin, and the indent is caused by an unstruck planchet. You can have a full indent, which would then be also referred to as a uniface.
I'm going to pull something else up to see if I can access. Sometime I have a
And
problem.
I am not trying to completely confuse you guys, so please ask questions if you have them because it can be very confusing. That's why a lot of people don't go into errors because it takes time to learn this stuff. No, you're fine, Luther. You don't have to stop because 90% of the time you're correct. When you say something that needs a little bit of correcting, it probably is something that somebody else in the chat is thinking of. So, and that gives me an opportunity to describe it. So don't stop. You're doing fine.
All right. So the next one in the list is a bonded coin. I'm
hmm
trying to pull up a really cool one of these. We actually talked about this when we talked about the Richmond dime, and coins that have been kind of struck and stacked. What exactly is a bonded coin?
Exactly what you just said. Coins that have been struck and stacked. Coins when coins are struck, that that striking mechanism generates a lot of heat. It generates enough heat that for a microsecond, that planchet becomes almost
Is
like
almost molten.
liquid. Yeah, it becomes, molten or whatever. It melts it. Um, and so these bonded coins or pile ups, they are just something happens with the feeder mechanism and it will feed coins into the striking chamber, but something happens in that striking chamber that makes it uh, um, it renders the ejection process. Um, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Coins don't get ejected. They just keep getting fed into the striking chamber. Keep it simple, Paula. They just keep getting fed in, fed in, fed in, fed in, and they will pile up, and that heat generated through the striking bonds them. It will bond them until somebody hears that horrible clunk, 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 and they stop the press. Stop the presses! And then they put the error coin in their pocket and call it a day.
They sneak it out of the mint and they
They
sell it
call
for
Mike
good money.
Byers or
Yeah.
John Sullivan. They go, "Hey, got a good one for you." But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, the mint says that doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, we'll see.
it is extremely rare with the new um, vertical presses. It is extremely rare for those types of striking, even for off centers and anything after like 2002. Off centers, any of those striking errors. If you find those, they have, even though they're on modern coins, they have quite a bit of value to them because they are very, very scarce.
Well, that and they don't bag coins anymore. So getting coins that haven't been rejected by the armor car service rolling machines and stuff like that are almost impossible now. A lot of the broad strokes and stuff like that, you'd open a mint bag and there'd be some in there. And after 2001, there was no more mint bags. They're all done in palletaners now, or
Well, they are still found,
they
and
are, but they're
but the
found
Fed
usually.
Reserve finds them now.
Like I have a friend that used to own a armor car service,
Hmm.
and he would save a big coffee can full of stuff.
Yeah,
And I had a
that's
friend, and he would give it to the friend, and it was all stuff like that that the rolling machines and accounting machines would just reject it, would throw it into a bin. So
so
the
yeah. I mean,
consumer
that is
doesn't
still
seem
what
to know.
happens, but you can still find broad struck and off centers in coin
Yeah,
rolls.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's not as often because they're
No,
kind of filtered through already.
the
Twice
actual error itself happens a lot less and a
that too.
lot less frequently.
Right,
So
that
that's the
too.
main reason why they are as scarce as they are, is because they
So,
just didn't happen.
Eric,
Because the
clarify your
gravity,
oh, sorry, Paula, go
it's
ahead.
okay. It's okay. So much of them are gravity fed, and so you just don't you just don't find them like you used to.
Yeah, so Luther says I bought bags of women's quarters past 2021. Can you explain a little
They
bit about what you mean by that, Eric?
In 2001, they used to, like, we'll just say Lincoln Cents.
they
They
still
used to
bag
sell
them.
Lincoln Cents in $50 canvas bags. And
Yeah.
that's what the banks would get them because a lot of the banks actually rolled their own coin at one point. So you used to be able to go to the bank and say, "Hey, can I get a $50 bag of pennies
Hmm.
or cents?" And they'd say, "Sure." And chances are it would be a mint sewn bag from one of the mints. And you'd open it up, and while the mint does kind of go through to try to sort that stuff out, they still make their way in. But in 2000, after 2001, they started putting pennies in a $5,000 palletainer. It's like an industrial size bag,
Yeah, Luther.
and they move them around with forklifts and stuff like that. So the armored car service, when they order cents, they get one of these $5,000 uh, like palletainers
Hmm?
in, and then they roll them, and then of course they're going through again too. And the rolling, if it's broad struck and it's a little bit wider, it gets rejected. It gets thrown in. And he used to have a lot of them. I mean, there would be like a big coffee can every 6, 8 months in the rolling machine that would have stuff that was rejected
You have
for one reason or another.
unsavory.
Not all of them were errors. There's other reasons why they reject them, and I can't tell you. Ballistic bags. That's right, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
Well,
but yeah, you used to be able to get all denominations in canvas bags.
Well, they still have the ballistic bags. Those are just the
That's
huge
actually
big.
what they use now. I mean, it's like you used
Yeah,
to be able to get, it was $50. I wanna
but
say it was
you're
$400
talking
in
about
one
the
quart.
little, like, canvas bags, but
Yeah,
they still sell
500 in
the.
dimes, and then I think 1,000 for halves and quarters were $1,000 bags.
Ooh, me's gonna get in trouble.
Uh-oh.
He said that's what I call my wife, a ballistic bag.
Oh, me is changing his
Ooh.
name again?
Nice.
Me
No,
changed his.
well, his actual channel name is Watch What I Do Here. He just
I
goes by
know, but he
me.
had it spelled out this morning when he first came in.
Yep,
Now he's abbreviated it.
yep. All right, well, let's go to the double and triple struck coins. That's just pretty much exactly what it states.
That is exactly what it states.
But there's a lot of fake ones of these.
And those
Um,
can be struck in or out of the collar also. So,
so what are the most common things you look for when you're looking at a genuine double or triple struck coin?
oh my goodness. Well, most of the ones that you find that are faked that you'll find in like change and stuff are Vice coin. But they have gotten very savvy with these. And there's a guy that a person that makes for years has made fake quarter errors, double struck and triple struck, and I can't remember what his name is, but they now will make false dies, soft dies, false dies, and so they've gotten very very good at faking these double struck and triple struck errors and um Eh, boy, that's a good question. Really, that's a discussion in and of itself. Um,
Um,
it's
Clarify
too
what the
hard
question
for me
is.
to describe it in words, to tell you in words how to. The best way for you guys out there is to send it to somebody who can examine it in hand. If there's any question, if somebody can't look at a picture and tell you, like I can typically look at a picture and tell you whether it is
And
genuine or not.
but sometimes you can't because
But
either the
sometimes
quality of
you
the
can't.
picture is bad or it's just something you can't see good enough.
Yeah, sometimes you can't. So that's where you can look at CoinZip and see if there's a coin show in your town that has like a Kaneka rep or somebody there or an error person like John Sullivan or somebody who is versed in errors that you can take it to that coin show, have it examined. You can send it to Kaneka and have it examined in hand. But typically, you can send good, clear photos to someone who is well versed in errors and they could tell you.
Or a large
Because
coin shop. A lot of coin shops do have an,
most coin shops do not.
that's right. Most coin shops have no interest in it.
I never recommend, well, Mike, so Mike, that's, here's the problem with that is knowing which ones actually do know.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of
Oh,
them will tell you that they know and they
yeah, there's a
don't
lot of that
actually.
running around.
So that's the problem. Mike's coin shop, yes, Mike knows. Matt knows. There are coin shops
Well,
out
yeah,
there
a
that
lot of
do
dealers
know.
know.
Um, there, but I'm telling you that there. So I don't want to use names, and I'm not going to use names, but there is a YouTube channel that has an old man on there that gets a lot of views, and for the
Uh-huh.
most part, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to coins, but he has a brick and mortar, and but he talks about error coins. You can tell that he is a Spadone studier. He even brings up Spadone. And I've watched him, and he's
He
called
does,
things like
Mike.
the slash digit in an actual error, and that is not an error. That is damage, and it's so you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful which coin shops you actually trust. My recommendation is always to
And
find someone who specializes in errors.
ultimately, like Mike said, most coin shops would be considered small coin shops, not
Well,
large.
that's true, but even large coin shops,
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah. But like most coin shops, they actually have very little interest in it because it
Yeah,
takes up too much time. The
even
one
large.
near me, he's got no interest in die varieties at all. Uh, Matter of fact, if he finds them, he calls me and sells them to me at regular coin price.
So what you can do is you can find a large coin shop and ask them if they have an error specialist that works there.
Or you just bring one in and find out if they know.
Or you just send me a picture.
Or you can just send Paula a picture. There you go.
And I'm telling you right now, you can trust that if I am not absolutely certain, I will show it to people who will be
Yeah, you
certain.
know people that can be certain.
Yes.
Right.
If I have any question, I will not tell you for certain that it is one way or another. So, but I will get you the right answer.
Yeah, and folks, and I want to issue a clarification. Not all coin shops have all the information. Some specialize in certain things.
Mhm.
And so just because we say your coin shop may not know isn't meant to tag any specific coin shop. It's not
Mm-mm.
meant to
Yeah,
be
it's not a bad
degrading.
thing.
And Mike's coin shop does because Mike knows he's very good at error coins. And if
But
and
And
I
yeah,
I would
wanted
venture
I
to
want to be
say,
clear with this. Just because they know doesn't mean they're going to be interested in buying it, right? And so
Mike knows a lot about a
you
lot of
have to you have to gauge the
stuff.
interest. You have to gauge what they tell you. But we'll talk about this a lot more as we kind of go through these things. Get multiple resources of people that are trusted in the community. And it doesn't matter. Okay, we have had conversations where it's been me, Eric, Chuck, Paula, and even in our group, we don't agree on certain things.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And so just because people don't agree doesn't mean anybody's necessarily wrong. They have a different way of explaining it, they have a different way of talking about it. But almost every one of these is going to have that same explanation. They're going to have that discussion. You're going to be able to talk about those things. And so just make sure you're cultivating good relationships with people. And again, be
and
careful of the self proclaimed expert.
yeah,
Okay.
ultimately, Frosty, when you have a relationship with somebody, eventually you do kind of learn what their strengths and their weaknesses are as far as,
Fact.
if they're a coin dealer, you'll go in there and hey, they're a great bullion dealer and they're great at you can get like me, I like BU rolls. I know there's certain coin shops, they don't want no part of it. It's just too much work and not enough money for them.
And Luther,
I can
that's an
tell you
absolute fact.
I can tell you one main diagnostic, and it's not always 100%, but most of the time it goes back to what Jack Young says, attribution, attribution, attribution. Most double struck and triple struck error coins are struck by the same die
That's right.
each time it's struck. 99.999% of them are struck in the same striking chamber by the same die pair. Every once in a while, you get that oddball that I think is probably a little mint shenanigans, but whatever. That will be a dual dated, uh, different dates. But we don't even need to go there.
So
You can,
I want to address coaches real quick. Is a double struck coin distinct from a double die coin?
yeah,
Yes. Okay, we'll explain why in just a second. He says
double,
which is created flawed die. Okay, so um a doubled die, you have to have the D on doubled,
doubled.
is the doubling is actually on the die itself. It is not a double struck coin. Okay. That was done in the hubbing process when they were pressing that design into that from the hub into that die. They anneal it, they bring it back, they put it on. That die, depending upon the movement, the shifting, whether it's, laterally rotated, there's a point on the doubled die, whether it's class 1, class 2, class 3, there's a point in which the center of that design is moved. Maybe it's shifted up and to the right, down to the left. Maybe the entire thing is centered, but it's just rotated like the 55 or the 1972. So the double die is actually on the die itself. Double struck coins happen when they are struck multiple times.
And that would be a variety, not an error.
One's an error, yes.
Yeah.
One's a variety, one's an error.
Ah,
Varieties are born, errors are created.
And it is doubled die. I just say double
Doubled.
die,
Yes.
but it is doubled. There is a D on the end of double. So, but they are fundamentally different.
Yeah. Errors are happen during the manufacturing of the coin.
barking at the communists.
Oh, and a quick
Varieties happen
clarification.
during the making of the die.
Yeah, and a ejection doubling is not
It is damage.
a doubling that happens. How do you say this?
It's
They
damage.
say it's a striking error, but it's not. It's
No,
damage.
the strike's over.
Yep, strikes over at that point. So there's a lot of people will say, well, it was damage that occurred when the coin was in the press, but it's damage,
Yeah.
right? The machine doubling, mechanical doubling. Yeah. So again, understanding that minting process, there are people that I've had to separate myself from because they've sold people ejection doubling, mechanical doubling, and tried to pass it off as authentic. And so be careful. There's a lot of that out there too.
And the machine doubling is done during the strike. So
So,
that's
yeah.
different too.
So
Machine doubling is done immediately after the strike.
Yes.
So
Well,
clarification from
yeah.
Coach real quick. Let's finish this one. So a
Machine
double
doubling
struck
damage.
coin is when the coin doesn't get ejected from the machine and literally gets double struck. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's worded perfectly.
Yeah. There's the striking process is repeated. So there's a difference.
Yep.
Because it's an actual strike.
And you'll
It's
hear a
not
lot of this if you see some of these videos about these double die. They talk about double struck coins. Again, they have the information wrong. I'm going to talk a little bit here in just a few minutes about what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a little bit of fun and engage you all in getting something that is kind of funny. And so we'll talk about that here in a little bit, but we wanted to go through this.
I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee real quick. I'll be right back.
Wexler's calls it worthless doubling. Yeah, it's fact. It's,
Yeah.
but there's people out there that will utilize that and try to tell you that
he puts it under the worthless doubling category because it's that basically for lack of a better wording. He also calls die deterioration doubling worthless doubling. He calls I can't remember what the other one that he has on there, but he's got machine doubling, die deterioration doubling, and whatever the other one category is. But he just lumps them all into worthless doubling.
yeah.
They're not doubling.
You guys want to hear something cool? We just got a community notice. This is not a joke. We just got a community notice to bring your pets inside because there's a bobcat walking in the green belt behind our house.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
There's bobcats running all over.
Bobcat Goldthwait?
Bobcat Goldthwait.
The third type is abrasion.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab some.
Oh, how many people knew he was a preacher at one time? Interesting stuff. All right, double denominations. We talk about this. He's going to come back. Question on this one. Can you talk about Daniel Carr? Yeah, so Daniel Carr creates fantasy coins. Um, he will actually follow the minting process, and if I'm not mistaken, he claims that everyone is struck over an authentic planchet, an authentic coin. Oh, that was Sam Kinison. You're right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Sam Kinison. That's correct.
Right. Bobcat was the one that always sounded like
He,
he was drunk or high or
he's
whatever,
the
right?
one.
Oh yeah, he
Don't
was always
like me.
moaning.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. That's right. What food group is
Police
this?
Academy. He's the one that talked like this.
What food group is that?
Yeah, Sam Kinison. His brother was
That's
a
the
preacher too.
necessary
Yeah,
food group.
yeah.
That's my breakfast of champions.
So double denominations.
Double denominations. Yep.
Could this also be considered a mule?
No.
What's the difference between the two?
So a mule is an obverse and a reverse die that are paired that are not intended to be
That
paired
are
together.
incorrect. Yeah.
Okay, and what
Double
is a double denomination?
denomination is like a dime struck on, overstruck on a cent. So a struck denomination over a struck denomination. Um, like an 11 cent. That's the most common one that people are aware of. The dime overstruck on a cent.
Yeah, all Daniel Cars are overstruck. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he creates fantasy pieces, um, and he clarifies those as such. But again, depending upon what camp you come from, a lot of people want to know why he's not classified as a counterfeit.
And a little a little authentication tip there. You will find it struck on both sides. If you find a the reverse of a dime that, by the way, is backwards and incuse, but it might not be. They could have used a false die. Um, that is only on one side. Just think about my question to people that Joe Cronin taught me is, can you clap with one hand? You have to have
Yes.
two dies to strike a coin, so it will be struck on both sides twice, right? And you can always follow the orientation of the strike also, the rotation. It should match.
Yeah. So one of the things about having a uniface double denomination or a mule is that the way that the US Mint has changed their technology, they're very difficult to do anymore. Plus, the US Mint also has new technology. I actually did a video on this and talked about this, which the US Mint will take a photo of the die and the surface of the planchet and the coin after each strike.
That's
Um,
amazing to me.
if the computer actually registers a different design or something wrong, the press will automatically stop until that item is cleared and that piece that represents that error is turned in. You have a supervisor that then reactivates that press. They take that piece that's flagged, they remove it, they destroy it, whatever it is that they're going to do.
And that's yet another reason why there's less errors coming out.
Right. And so the Mint is taking this stuff very seriously. A lot of the stuff that you see, and again, folks, when you're talking about there are certain pairings that just could never happen because of size. You're never going to see a dime obverse and a 50-cent reverse. The actual casings, the dies, the housings that they go in are the wrong size. And so if you're going to see something like this, and again, many of these are old, they're going to be very similar in size. The Sacagawea quarter or the mule Sacagawea quarter error, right? The what was it? The or is it Oregon? No, it was, what was that mule? I can never remember. It was Sacagawea and,
Yes,
Washington
my
Court.
right. Cent struck on a dime, right, you're
yeah.
correct.
So again, a lot of those are just they're not gonna happen anymore based off the new technology that the it's a really cool piece of technology. I actually talked to the company who created that technology. Um, and what ended up happening was the United States Mint said that they can't alter Schuler presses, and the other one was oh come on, the other German, not Schuler, but the other one starts with a um, they said we will not allow you to alter the machine, stop the machine. Um, and so there was only one of them, and that was in San Francisco. They ended up coming and picking that up, and then the company who actually designed the press took his technology and created their own and started putting them on all the machines. And so I got to talk with him a little bit, talk about the process. Obviously, there's some proprietary stuff they weren't able to share, but it's a really interesting piece about how the Mint is doing things to eliminate certain errors from happening. And again, with all these things in place, it's pretty sure that you're going to have a situation um, where an error is going to have to be manually created because it's just not going to happen. So interesting stuff when you talk about those. But again, I see double denominations confused with mules sometimes, and so I wanted to bring that one up.
So, clarify that because striking errors may be a thing of the past, but
Well, you're still gonna
planchet
have
and
planchet errors, and you're still gonna have die
die
errors.
errors.
Right, you're still
Mhm.
gonna have those. We were talking specifically about, like, mules and things.
Striking.
Yeah,
Mhm.
y now, it's not impossible, but it's just improbable because of the technology. And Luther, that is an absolute fact. Steps in prevention can actually lead to new errors. So there may be new things that come out of those.
There's
That's
always gonna be
absolute fact. Yep.
shenanigans.
There's always the opportunity. And, we say this, where there's a will, there's a way. So who knows what they'll come out with.
And I'm telling you guys, there are always WorldCoin errors.
Fact. Yep.
They are overlooked and undervalued.
An untapped resource. Yep.
Mhm.
So I want to go through two different ones. And then because we're only about 30 minutes up before the end of today. And I want to focus in on one of these very specifically, and that is the Martha Washington test piece.
Ah,
Um, let's
they
talk
still
about
use her
those.
dye for those.
Indeed.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about this piece. What's the story behind Martha Washington?
I don't know the whole story.
I don't either.
I just know that, and I mean, I have read it. I just don't remember the entire story, and I don't want to give incorrect information. I just know that there are Martha Washington dyes out there that are used as test dyes. Frostbite's gonna Google it.
I just Googled it. Yeah.
Oh, you
Well,
did?
I'm trying to pull up
Um,
Coin Week
and
had a discussion on trying to find the
yeah,
article.
Yeah. Mint Error News has an article. Looks like Mike
they
Byers has an article.
so back in 43, 42, 43, when they were testing metals out, um, they used Martha Washington dyes to do that. So you typically when yeah, pattern coins, typically when they are testing out new metals and things like that, those are the dyes that they will use. Um,
Here's the sorry, I
yeah.
had to get the URL. For some reason, it wasn't posting the whole thing. I just dropped that in chat. This is the story from Coin World. I think I
Mhm.
said Coin Week. It's actually Coin World. That talks about the design, what happened, why they were utilizing it, what was for, and then the fact that they utilize this for. So if you want to know a really cool story, That's one. And again, I wrote Coin Week, but it's actually oh, sorry about that one.
And it looks like over the years, there's been many, many, many Martha Washington test dies
Many.
Many,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
because there's a set of 1943s in the Smithsonian that are encapsulated in like,
And there's a story about why they pay her homage like that, or why they chose to use her. And I can't remember the entire story. And maybe it's in that article. I don't know, but it's very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. But they have used her on those dies for a very, very long time to test different metals and all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah, there was a really cool one. I don't know who Mike Byers is.
Mike Byers has a lot of the shenanigan errors.
no relation, by the way.
Yeah, he has like the proof 1970, a lot of 1970s proof errors on like seeded quarter, overstruck on seeded quarter plant. I don't know, like all kinds of impossible, impossible things. I don't like errors like that. I don't like errors that I don't even call them errors. They're on purposes. They're not errors. So that's just me. To me, for me to categorize it as an error, it has to be an actual like unintentional mishap somewhere in the process of manufacturing.
Yeah,
Uninten-
1978p.
Unintentional
Yeah,
being
Eisenhower dollar
the
struck on a 78S Eisenhower dollar.
yes. Um, well, he has quarters. Look. So Google Mike Byers
Yeah, I'm looking at his site
1970s
right now.
quarter errors.
Um,
And actually, you can go on his website. I think it's just Mike Byers.
it's
Yeah,
MikeByers.com. Yep.
Yeah.
Heritage Auction also has a lot of stuff on um, the quarter size patterns,
Morning Cherie
and
Ward.
in relation to the Judd reference,
Hmm.
talks about the rarity that the 1965, why they created that, that they call them, what is it
Byers
called?
with a B.
B
My
B
B.
Y E R. Uh,
Byer.
um,
Mike Byer with a B.
hey Sherry, how you doing? But there's a lot of cool. It's a really cool story. So do some research. I've got a couple pieces here on this, and they actually talk about various things. It's a really neat series of items. I wanted to share it because one, it's not it they don't use a coin that was ever struck for circulation, right? They do that for a purpose. But they've maintained this one for a long time. All the experimental planchets and everything have all been struck with, not all of them, but a lot of them have struck with this. So it's a really, really cool piece.
It is very cool. Yeah.
So the last one I want to go over today before we kind of break into an idea that I have is the die caps. And you guys have seen some of the really cool die caps from Harlan J. Burke, the images that Mike has shown. Um,
Matt has a beautiful die cap.
there are some amazing die cap coins. So let's talk a little bit about a die cap and explain what a die cap is.
So it's exactly what it says. It is a coin or a planchet that fails to eject from the striking chamber, and typically it happens to the hammer die. It will stick to the hammer die. There are reverse die caps, but typically it's the hammer die that it will stick to that, and it forms like a bottle cap. It
Yeah.
it expands out and up
In the planchet that
every
it
time
strikes
it strikes.
underneath it
Yeah,
is
is a struck through
right,
capped
well, it's a
die or a
brockage, isn't
capped
it?
die strike.
Doesn't the die cap create the brockage underneath it?
No,
No?
brockages are different.
Okay.
So a brockage doesn't always become a die cap.
That's right. Alright.
Or a brockage maker doesn't always become a die cap.
Alright. So I'm on the right track. I
But
am
you are on the right track. You are on the right track. Um, and so that one is a double struck reverse die cap. It actually has a counter brocket. Um, and yeah, I don't. Anyway, we could talk about that, but I'm not going to. There's some.
Me,
Anyway,
a DDO is a variety.
a double die obverse is a variety. Yes.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool ones. I'm trying to get into the coin listing,
You should
unfortunately.
you should pull up a straightforward die cap and not multiple like that, because that's that one is difficult to explain, and it is not your typical die cap.
Okay, here, let's do this.
Um, I don't want to confuse them too much. Yes, obverse and so DDO and DDR varieties together are scarce,
We just found one. We
but
found a 46D
they are still separate varieties.
that has a DDO, DDR, and an RPM. It's only the second one. The other one's a
Hmm.
41D.
And they are still three separate varieties.
Yep.
So that one, I would need. So okay, so here's the thing: you can have a cupped broad struck coin that looks very much like a die cap. The key to the biggest difference between the two is that a a die cap will usually have signs of being like multi-struck, and it's hard to describe. Usually it will have signs of being multi-struck, because when you think about it, it sticks to the die, and then as it's striking planchets,
It distorts more and more and
it
more and more.
distorts more and more and more and more and more. Yeah,
But what we're seeing here, that could be an early stage die cap.
it could be. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's probably something that you would want to see the coin in your hand. The
Yeah, I would.
picture might
Well, I
not
want to see the
offer,
reverse of it too.
yeah, might not offer enough information to actually make a concrete
Here, I'll
die.
show you another one that has both. Just a
Luther,
sec.
that's not the case. That's not the case.
Here's one that has both.
Well, that was like Paula's struck through. When I looked at it, I actually thought that that was a die chip.
That is multiple coins bonded.
Yeah, that's a,
Is it?
yep.
Yes,
Oh,
that
yep,
is
it
a
is. Hold on. I pulled up the
multi-coin
wrong pulled up the wrong one.
die cap. That is a multi-coin die cap. That's Yeah, that's got multiple coins bonded.
But I have a better
Me too, Nana.
I wanted to try to pull up the one that Mike has. Unfortunately, I can't get into the program. Sometimes it gives me accessing. And I think it's because he's out on.
I think for this discussion, I would suggest just kind of keeping the errors simple, talking more about simple errors that people are going to find. When it comes to crazy errors like this, really you're doing kind of a I'm doing them a disservice by not giving them more discussion time and actually
And
being more thorough in my
there's no way you're going
explanation.
to find that in pocket change.
No, I would like that. I mean, it's your show. We can talk about. I'll talk about errors all day long. You know that. Like
Yep.
I love it. But for practical purposes, um, I'd like to talk to them about things that they are likely to find in the error versus damage realm.
Yeah, well, the problem, what I want to do is I want people to understand what the authentic ones look like. Um, there's so much misinformation and disinformation out there that I want people to see what the authentic ones look like.
Yeah.
Um, because again, people are, the people want to make money and they'll do whatever they can to deceive you. We saw this with the website of the In Cod We Trust, right?
Mm.
um, where it's a total deceptive um,
Oh my
uh,
gosh, I want to show you something.
site setup, site structure. And so, why do people have this? Well, maybe they have an app that they're trying to get you to use, and they're trying to, draw people to that. Maybe they're trying to sell coins that have this. Maybe they, what I don't know what the reason is. There's a lot of issues when it comes to this. And if you're not aware of what the genuine articles look like, it leads to the opportunity for deceptions. I just want to make sure people understand what the authentic coins look like. Track it.
So I want to show you something. I got this text from my nail tech who sent me this picture.
You're going to have to, hold on. There we go. All right.
Sent me this picture and said, thoughts,
I
thoughts,
hate, yeah,
my
I
thoughts.
hate
favorite.
Yep.
And I
your
said,
favorite.
it's a normal quarter. And this is what she's texted me back. Oh man, I thought I had a misprint that said in COD we trust. This is my nail tech
Yeah.
who does not do coins. She has started looking at a couple, like I think her grandpa gave her a couple coins or whatever at some point because of me. But that's it. That's how widespread that stupid in COD we trust thing got. It's crazy. I about I about fell out my chair. I'm like, oh no. I sent her my video link on the in COD we trust.
Here,
Improper nailed. Oh, yours, Wendy? Yes, your nickel is an improperly annealed. If you want to send me pictures, Wendy, or I don't know if you have pictures, we can talk about it.
That's a beaut.
the one that,
Anybody else,
yeah.
Wendy, if anybody tells you anything different, they're wrong. Your nickel is a classic improperly annealed nickel.
Is it from the 50s?
I don't remember what year it was, but it doesn't have to be from the
Right.
50s.
I'm just saying, everybody, there's those black beauties and all that.
There's improperly annealed dimes, there's improperly annealed
Sure.
quarters. I know you made a short about it, Wendy. 1997. I know
Yeah,
you
Mike
made.
just sent me a bunch of photos. Unfortunately, I can't
Let me see if
open
I
that
pull
folder
the
for some
picture
reason.
up,
I'm not sure
Wendy.
what's going.
See.
I also missed a great dad joke.
Wendy's, what is it? Wendy's coins or something. What's your Wendy's coin? Yeah. I will pull it up and pause it. Hang on. Okay. I can share this.
Yep, pull it up. And folks, real quick, one thing that I would really like you guys to do,
I'm not going to
it's
play the whole video because I don't know how that works with copyright.
just mute the
Mute it and then play it. Okay.
because otherwise it's gonna flag. So just explain
So
what you're
as
showing.
you can see, the edge is normal. And look at that mint luster. If that were environmentally damaged or something, it would not have that mint luster. That is an improperly annealed nickel. 100%. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
that
have
will not
questions.
having the
So
audio removed from that will help
what I
not
can
flag
tell
that.
you, Wendy, is if you send that to Annex, it will come back improper alloy mix. For some reason, they have a bug up their butt about anything other than a 58 and 59 nickel being called improperly annealed. I have several examples of improperly annealed nickels that I have sent. No, Mike, it's not sintered. Let me explain something to you. Sintering. They used to call it sintering. It has been proven that there is no such thing as sintered. And I will post a link. Hang on a second. I'll post the link for you to read. That's why you see them called improperly annealed now. Sintering is an old term that they used to use, but let me.
So sintering is an engineered material that combines natural minerals like quartz, porcelain, and glass, and it's done into a fine powder.
And those Black Beauties, Frosty, I know that I've got some that are like 1960, 1961.
Yeah, hang on.
They go further than just the 58 and 59.
Yeah, they go out for a couple years. I've got a couple that I think I got a 60,
Okay, so
63,
I'm going to
64.
post this in the chat, and this explains why they no longer believe that it is sintering.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
putting it in
yeah.
chat. I'm looking at the screen trying to find out.
No, I lost my chat. Hang on. Give me a second because it has to pull it back. Okay, there we go. Here we go.
You very well could, Nanostacks.
Well, Wendy, we appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us.
Okay, so
Needle and thread.
here's a short version of the definition. For decades, arrow collectors have puzzled over copper nickel and copper nickel clad coins struck on planchets with a layer of copper on the surface. In times past, these errors were called copper wash or sintered plating errors. 1962 nickel shown below is a typical example, is a thick layer of peeling copper on the right. Now this improperly annealing does not always show a peeling layer of the copper that has migrated to the surface. And that's basically what happens with these. That's why it looks copper, because the copper has migrated to the surface of the coin. That's why they now know that it's not sintering. Sintering is something deposited on the coin. Copper, now they know that it's actually the copper in the alloy mix that migrates to the surface. In recent years, eyewitness testimony has convincingly pointed to annealing as a specific step in the planchet preparation responsible for the surface copper. So you guys can, you can judge and make your own mind up. There's the explanation that was given years ago. And it's not, so error terms have changed and definitions have changed constantly throughout
And they
time.
probably will again.
And they probably will again.
Yeah, agree.
It's not, yeah, as more knowledge is gained, people learn more, and then definitions change and explanations change, and proof, there's proof in, it's no longer just a theory, right? It becomes proven.
All right, stop that EMR.
Anyway.
I just put in chat the exact same thing. I was like, I'm hungry. Stop. So,
So I will, anyway, that's my suggestion, Wendy. If you really want to know what it is, stop asking around, because you're going to get 50 different answers. I can tell you that what I told you is correct. What I told you is correct. It's an improperly annealed planchet. And if you want the correct identification on the label, send it to NGC or PCGS. It's going to cost you more, and you'll never recover that investment, because that coin's not worth what it will cost you to have it graded. Or you can just take my word for it and label it as an improperly annealed nickel and love it like it is.
and that, by the way, folks, the image that I have on the screen is
Oh,
not the
here
one
we
we're
go.
talking about, by the way.
L on the rim. Oh, Cherie Ward, I'm going to time you out.
That's a 1968.
So AZ sent me this coin.
Annex, so I just said, Mike, Annex, if she sends it to Annex invariably will call it a improper alloy mix. If it's not a 58 or 59, they won't call it what it is, for whatever reason. I have multiple examples. So, and you can tell that coin is not an improper alloy mix.
So what would you say this coin is?
Hang on, let me get back to you.
I already know the answer
That
to
is
this, but
damage. It's probably solder or something to that effect on the coin.
Could just be heat.
Uh,
Not sure how a nickel would melt. I've never heated one up.
It looks like it's something on the coin.
yeah, it looks like something's been melted over the top of the coin.
That's damage.
Yeah, I looked at the obverse, and it's not. He did send the other. It's not heat from that aspect, but it's definitely, because the obverse is normal. But this
You
is
would mean
somebody that's dribbled something over the
ICG
top of it.
when you say give Skip
Who
the
is
benefit of the
Skip,
doubt, Mike.
Mike?
That's the guy that owns ICG.
Who's Skip, Mike? Is Skip the person that does the error things
Maybe
for?
he does. I don't know. If he does.
Then you need to talk to him and tell him to quit labeling improperly annealed planchets improper alloy mix. Now, I don't know if it's just a code that they put in or something like that, and it comes up on the label, but it's absolutely wrong. Those are two separate error types, completely separate error types.
Yeah, Luther, that's kind of where I was leaning. Somebody was probably practicing with making something out of jewelry with.
Yeah, Skip is ICG. He's not. not on Anax.
Who? Yep.
Skip,
Oh,
yeah, he's the owner of ICG.
oh, Skip was
Jack
great.
probably knows him.
Jack does know him. He's the guy that he comes down to Tampa and visits with.
Oh, ICG does all of. I've never used ICG, but um, I don't have a problem with it. Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't have a problem with. I wouldn't have a problem with Wendy sending her. Um,
ICG's it's not terrible. My
well,
only complaint with ICG is they tend to overgrade sliders. But when they grade a nice coin, it's usually graded properly.
for the most part, error collectors are more interested in the error itself than the actual grade. So yeah, and error grading is less than consistent anyway, because a lot of times what they grade is the non-error area of the coin.
Yeah, the guy Skip he's talking about, he's pretty sharp with coins. I gotta say that he knows a
Yeah,
lot.
I don't know who it is, so yeah. Um,
Nice, Mike. Nice. Dun dun.
it was instant.
Yeah.
Ah, you should put
Well,
water.
it's biblical that a man brews coffee. It says he brews.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
Bruce. Wendy, yeah. So if it was my coin, it's a beautiful nickel. I mean the effect on it is beautiful. When you've got those improperly annealed and they've got all that mint luster and stuff, it's a beautiful nickel. I would put, if it was mine, it would go in a flip. It would be labeled improperly annealed, and I would love it until I was forced to get rid of it. That's what I would do.
well,
Uh,
folks, we're going to wrap up, but I'm going to do something before we wrap up. I want to tell you what my idea is. I want you guys to help me identify something. I'm going to do something, and I've already explained
hmm.
to Eric and Paula a little bit about what I'm doing. Okay. I don't know if you guys have seen the chicken with the initials F, okay, who's speaking, okay? The um,
I
I
love
am going to
Jesus,
issue every
Lord.
month, I'm going to issue one of those as an award to people who help me identify bad videos. And what I mean by bad videos, it doesn't matter what the topic, it's just misinformation. Okay. Either deceptively horrible information or just whatever. The reason that I want to do this is to help you understand when you're watching it to be critical. Now, it's going to be really easy to just go look at a couple of these things, and everybody wants to go tag, Coin Channel Tube or something like that. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I want you to separate yourself out. Look at a multitude of different items and stuff that comes across your feed. I don't need you digging into these channels and watching all of their stuff. That's not what I'm asking you to do.
Please don't.
But if you find ones that are like genuinely deceptively fake, just absolute incorrect information, but they're very well done, they really can lead, they got massive views. I want you to send me the channel, and I want you to send me the um the video title. And what we're going to do is at the end of the month, we're going to sort out like the top 5 or top 10, and I'm going to give um one of these coins away. It's the it's pronounced like this, okay? And this is the coin. And there's going to be a monthly award, and this is going to be something that's given to the person who helps identify this stuff. Why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing this for 2 reasons. Number 1, I want people to be engaged. Okay. I want people to have fun with this, but I really want you all to start looking at critical thinking. when you see this stuff, what makes the video good? What makes the video bad? Why is it appealing to people? And start thinking about those things. And as you're submitting those things to the email, again, you guys have my email address. You can do this by typing in exclamation point email, no spaces, and sending me the information. We're going to do this every month. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break that out. And then we're going to award whoever that is every month. And it's going to just be a way to engage and discuss and how to dispel some misinformation.
I want a coffee cup so bad with that on it and a
So
chicken.
EMR, all you'll do is you'll take the link at the top of the URL. You have a link. You can copy the link and send it to me via email, but make sure you're including the name of the channel and the name of the video so that if for some reason the link doesn't come across properly, I'm still able to go search it up. I'm going to look through these. We're going to bring up a couple of these on a stream, probably a Sunday stream. We'll walk through a couple of these. We'll show segments. Obviously, I can't show the whole thing. Some of these are horrible. And we'll talk about these and then we'll put it to vote. Um, the community will vote on this and then we'll issue the award. And so it's something just to kind of help again dispel information. So misinformation, let's put it that way. So just something fun to do. And then again, if you are the person that gets chosen for that, you found one, you can explain why the information's bad. People choose you, then you will receive the FEAWF award for identifying misinformation. So it's just going to be something that's a lot of fun. Um, again, folks, take it for fun. Okay, that's all this is. Um, it's just to kind of engage people and help people start to understand what misinformation. Okay. So it should be fun. Absolutely. Something fun for the community to do. You guys tell me a lot of these things anyway, right? You guys are always saying, "Hey, did you see this video? Hey, did you see this? The information was absolutely incorrect." And we end up looking at a lot of these things anyway. So I just figured it would be fun, something fun for everybody. And again, critical thinking is extremely important.
Yeah.
And I might just have to buy a mug and
I
send it
need
to
a I
Paula.
need one of those mugs with the chicken.
It is kind of funny. So, but
Oh, so funny.
yeah, too much fun. Well, hey, folks, I hope
Okay.
you enjoyed today.
Me too.
Um, couple subscribers today. I appreciate those who subscribe. Thank you so much for being here.
Like.
Again, folks, there's two things that you can do to help out the channel. I appreciate Steve dropping the gifted memberships, but really the two things you can do is watch videos and share them out. Okay. We have some people coming up here shortly. It should be a lot of fun. Tomorrow, I don't know what the topic is yet. I'll figure it out and then I'll post something on it. Um, but again, it's about sharing information and having fun. If you have topics that you want to hear about, please let me know. Luther did some advertising for me today.
You're
Outstanding. Thank you.
awesome, Luther.
Very much appreciate that. And again, that's how the information is going to go out.
Luther's awesome.
Small channels, and Eric, make sure Chuck understands that when I say this, he knows I say this with all due respect. Live coin Q&A, my channel, Copper Coins. We only have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 views or subs. We don't have the 300,000, 400,000 subscribers. We get lost in the sea of crap. And so if you really want to help those channels that provide good, solid information, share them, right? That's the big one. Share those out. Let people know you're there. If you hear family members talk about it and you've seen a video, share the video with them, right? Information dissemination is extremely important. Matter of fact, that's um,
Kevin.
Kevin's, right? The information of dissemination in a numismatic nation.
Numismatic Nation.
So, but again, it's really important. So thank you all for coming in and hanging out with us today. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Paul and Eric, as always, thank you so much. Paula, thank you so much for all the great information. You were
Heck
the
yeah.
you were
Thank
the
you for
key of
having
We
today's
should
show.
do we
So
should do it again where we focus a lot on like the little stuff and you know what I mean? Stuff that
absolutely.
that they will have better odds of finding.
And the last thing that I will say today is, folks, for those of you who know employees that work for the federal government, they're 30 days. They have been on furlough and not by their choice.
Take care of your neighbors.
750,000 people. If you have friends and community members that you know that are in this, just make sure they have this, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of people who they have a tough time day to day. And again, just reach out, make sure people are okay. They
And
need
if
to
you
know
don't,
people are supporting them. They
if you
work for
don't,
the government. They aren't the government. So make sure that you understand.
and if you don't know people personally, go in your pantry. Everybody's got canned goods that whatever, or if you have a few bucks extra that you can afford to help you, go buy some canned goods or whatever and take them to your local food bank. People are suffering, so um yeah, take care of your neighbors.
And again, folks, this goes for your military members as
Yeah.
well as your government civilians. Okay. It's a very tough time for a lot of people. You have a lot of young men and women out there that are having a tough time in normal life when they're getting paid, and now they're in a situation where they're getting that. Yeah,
Churches do
churches, food
too,
banks, all of
for
that stuff, you
sure.
can support those.
Yeah.
But again, we can just come alongside people and help
Why
out.
we tithe.
Do what you can. That's all I ask.
Okay, love you guys. Bye.
See
Appreciate you
y'all
guys.
tomorrow.
Take care. All right, Eric, you guys doing any reveals?
I think Chuck is doing some today. I'm doing a couple tomorrow.
What are you doing tomorrow?
87D and a 70S.
Outstanding. Mike, are you guys doing the podcast tonight?
Oh, think he might have left already.
I'm gonna look and
Nope, there
see.
he is. Coin Show Hangout
Coin
tonight. All
show
right.
hangout tonight. Okay, so let me pull up. I don't see the item listed yet. They may not have dropped that yet. But go check out the Coin Show podcast. Make sure you're turning on
It's
notifications.
always a good time, especially the Hangout sessions.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. So as soon as they drop that again, go over, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And we'll see you tonight over at the Coin Show podcast.
All right, see everybody tomorrow.
All right, folks, take care. Be well, be blessed, and we will see you tomorrow.